All right, welcome back for another episode of DWC Versus. We're back after a couple weeks hiatus. Strixhaven's out. We've got a brand new, exciting, historic format. And today we're going to be running a gauntlet with this pretty sweet Jeskai Magma Opus deck from one of the historic events from last weekend. I know Cam has been itching to cast some torrential gear hulks in historic, so this deck seems right up his alley.
Yeah, I sure have been. Haven't had a chance to try them out yet. I think we talked about them on the last episode of the podcast. You had sent me, I think it was a straight blue-red list. Had Magma Opus, had Gear Hulks, was also trying to do Indomitable Creativity. A bit more combo-y. Seems in the time since you sent me that, people have sort of rounded out the lists, mixed the combo into control archetypes. So I was choosing between this Jeskai list and there was a Temur Flash list, playing like Frilled Mystic, Nightpack Ambusher, but also the Magma Opus Gear Hulk combo. Went with Jeskai because it's been a while since I cast into Fairy 5. Control decks are true to my heart. So yeah, excited to see how it fits into an old archetype and how it lines up.
Right on, yeah. So we've got a gauntlet of 4 new historic decks that we're going to be running this through. One of them is 2 of them are from, I think, other events that happened this past weekend. We have Blue Black Rogues, we have Green White Collected Company, got a Temur Arclight Phoenix, and we've got Boros Heroic. So first matchup here is actually going to be against the Rogues deck. This deck took down a historic 5K this past weekend, and it seems pretty clear that the Rogues archetype translates pretty well into historic. Really big pickups with Inquisition, Brainstorm, Memory Lapse for the archetype, and the rest of the core is just the same as you would see in standard. So not much really to get into with this list. It looks pretty clean, and we'll see how it performs against Jeskai Opus.
Yeah, that's kind of been the story of Rogues. Once its core was established, even though new cards came out, the deck really didn't change. It's like the same for 2 standard formats. And I guess, yeah, that core is strong enough once it picks up a couple more powerful cantrips in historic. You jealous of my elephant?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, we're on the die roll. Let's see what we got here. I mean, I guess this is okay. Not
quite sure.
Particularly excited about it, but I don't think we mull it.
These 4 cards are, I mean, they might be a bit slow, but being able to do this, I think, will really round out our draw. So I'm going to keep this.
Start off with a Wind Robber. This is a nice little combo here, allowing us to put the search on top of his deck and then mill it off with our Wind Robber.
Yeah, that is neat.
Practically countered it with a two mana counter spell. It's real nice, real nice. So
counter spell's too strong though. Can't put that in historic.
Yeah, I think we go for a Brainstorm here. It's not a great Brainstorm, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. That is a little bit of an issue.
Oh, come on, you could have waited.
That's not good.
I have practiced against many to hone your prowess.
What do I actually want here? I guess. Just take some removal to protect this Narset.
Contain your rage.
Slow turn from our opponent. Alright, what's the best way to do this? We'll take our card.
Meditate.
No, we won't. And we will replace our Narset.
Okay.
And do we activate this one? If we get attacked, and then we'll only get one more activation from it, we kind of want to keep it hanging around because of the cantrips. Pass.
Slow. I have just the trick for this.
We'll take our counter spell. Pass back.
This hand is has not been panning out so far.
Lightning helix this. Keep our Narset around. Yeah, I mean, we can fight this. Probably get a counter spell here. Oh, nope. Talon pass. So it's gonna throw not enough to kill Narset.
This is a pretty big issue right here. If we So if that goes into his graveyard, like we can't get him to eight cards in his yard, so we can't kill the Narset. And if we can't kill the Narset, then he can just flash this back and then draw a whole new hand, and we lose ours, which is a bit of an issue.
This play, committing the Thought Thief, is pretty bad into a counterspell, because then it's a 6th card, the Thought Thief can attack, and it's 8 cards and my Narset dies, but I figured it was fine because there was no counterspell for the Luris, which I feel you would snap protect, so...
It's unfortunate.
Well, pretty sure I'm just going to cast Memory this turn. We drew a land. I don't have anything to do with 1 mana up. I guess it doesn't matter which way I do this, so... Do I have anything with +1? I don't think so. We're at a pretty safe life total, though.
So it was awkward because our counterspell was Memory Lapse. So if we lapse the commit back on top of your deck, we attack Narset, and then it mills it, and then you still get to do your turn. Your Narset's at 1. But if we wait, and if he goes for the main phase thing, lapsing the aftermath on it gets rid of it forever. So we don't have to worry then. So now I think our play
Hey, it's Enzy. How's it going? Awakening, sure. All right, well, we just drew a land, which is very good. That doesn't matter which way this goes, no. Matters.
Pretty good. So we know this is a counter spell on Foretell.
There's Slot Cummings and there's some of the card draw spell.
Oh, is there? I thought there was only Slot Cummings.
I think there's 2 Behold the Multiverse.
Okay. Okay, then we don't know if it's a counter spell or not.
Let me double check.
But in the case that it is, we're still just going to play this on our main phase.
All right, well. Well. We'll just get our attack in and we'll play Draw Go Control.
All right.
Sure. We'll try again. Now the game feels pretty locked up. We're just kind of in the beatdown phase. Sure.
Yeah, we're not beating that. That's unfortunate. Okay. So pretty easy sideboarding here. We really only have 4 cards that seem particularly good in this matchup, so we'll bring them in. And we'll take out our 4 cards that seem pretty bad in the matchup. And that's it. We're good to go. Easy peasy.
I think, despite like casting a Magma Opus and having it be pretty good that game, the real star was Narset and fighting over Narset. Especially with things like Drown in the Lock and Memory Lapse, these huge spells I think are maybe a bit of a trap, and I want to take some out. Like I definitely want these Mystical Disputes. Maybe even the Anger. Trim like the Gear Hulk, a Magma Opus, maybe the Commit Memory, and sensors don't seem very good. All their stuff is so cheap and efficient. So instead of sensors, what could I play? Not too worried about Graveyard Hate because he's a Luris deck. Maybe an extra Soul Guide Lantern. Let's try this.
So this is a matchup where we'd much prefer to have Thoughtseize in our deck instead of Inquisition, but unfortunately, we only have Inquisition.
Yeah, Stelly changed his whole setup. He's in an entirely different house.
Entirely different place, yeah. Yeah, I moved into my new apartment the first weekend of April. So this hand has a lot of counter spells, but it doesn't have any threat, and I need a threat, I think, for this deck to work. So we're gonna mull.
My hand doesn't have a threat, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep.
This hand is fine, and I think we put this back. It's kind of awkward what I want to do with my lands, though. Guess we're just leading on this.
Easy first few turns for us. Soul Guide Lantern. Need those. Lightning Helix on upkeep. Give him less chance to draw a counterspell. You can tap out on his turn if he wants to protect this.
I really wish I could tell if there's a blue land on top of my deck. Because if there is, I want to do this. On deck. Oh. That wasn't a blue land.
Unfortunate. All right, what are we doing now? We are just passing.
That was a blue land, though.
Brainstorm.
Based on him doing nothing the past couple turns, I think we've established this Foretold card as a counterspell. Memory lapse. It's okay.
Get rid of this Thought Thief. It's up to 2 damage and milling us a bunch. Sure. We will counter that.
Okay.
We really wanted that to resolve, which is why I felt fine memory lapsing the Brainstorm. Gives him less options, and he spent a blue on it. Considering he had missed a land drop for a turn, I didn't think he was going to have a second blue to play, so it meant that we could win that war.
I should have used this. It would have been much better.
See if this resolves. Take me home to Fairy. Yeah. Is it better to drown the Teferi and then you get a Mystical Dispute back on top of your library.
Wait, what? What do you mean?
Like, I memory lapsed your Mystical Dispute. So if you drown in the Locklet Teferi instead of my memory lapse, then the Teferi still gets countered, and you get a Mystical Dispute on top of your library to have.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yes.
Like, it's something to consider.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are now way down in cards. I kind of really wanted that Teferi to resolve, but there were 2 counter spells, which is unfortunate. And now we're getting womped on. Yeah, you're dead. Well, trying to line up the Teferi didn't quite work. And then, yeah, the Into the Story killed us. Alright. Do we need to change anything? I don't think so. It'd be nice if I had a way to keep my graveyard empty, but I don't.
What is Aftermath? The Aftermath on Commit Memory Raid?
I guess, yeah, it shuffles graveyards in.
Yeah. That might actually just be worth it to have in your deck.
Yeah, that is true. Alright, we'll bring that back in, and we will... What do we do? Take out the Soul Guide Lantern, just play 1, I suppose. The Luris backup plan kind of is a backup plan. I'm still fighting over the, it's a counterspell game, really. Which means... And it'd be so much easier to beat rogues if I had Teferi 3.
Teferi 3.
Do I want anything else? I don't think so. Actually, let me think here.
This time slot sucks. Sorry, Dylan.
What if we... do this? Okay, I have an idea. Hand seems good.
Yeah, I think we keep this.
Finally being on the play feels nice. That's why you lose 1.
We figured out the game plan.
What are we gonna do here? It's gonna resolve, and then we're gonna kill it.
Sounds good.
God, come on.
So we had Narset with Dispute backup, you say? Okay, let's think. Honestly, I think we just take the Narset. We can play around the counter spells.
Yeah, that seems like a snap decision to me.
All right.
I imagine I'll be taking one from this Windrobber for a bit. It's kind of annoying because it's getting him closer to enough cards in my graveyard.
This is fine with me.
I don't know if it's right to fight the Brainstorm there, but like my hand is so bad, so passive, that I don't think I can beat him sculpting his hand perfectly.
I think we wait because of what we drew there.
Now we're just staring at each other. Okay.
All right, Rogue's online. Honestly, I don't think I have to do anything.
Yeah, that's kind of the annoying part. This deck doesn't actually have a ton of spot removal, and rogues can just sit back like this.
Lapse my lapse. I think that's fine. Okay.
Alright, well, I imagine he has a counter spell, so I don't know if this memory is going to do anything. But it's definitely not doing anything if I let him draw that memory lapse. So we'll take our window. Yeah.
Okay, I think we take our window here.
Yeah, now I think I'm dead.
Okay. Let's see what that other card is. A Magma Opus. Okay.
Alright, this memory lapse on the other side, its face up, is quite annoying. Hmm. But at least it puts it on top. You can cast it next turn.
No, you can't.
Oh yeah, gets milled.
This game is super over now.
Yeah, I assume there's a counter spell here.
Yeah, I have 2 counter spells and an Into the Story.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan, memory lapse is pretty insane in Rogues. Pretty insane.
Yeah, fighting against what's like an actual 2-mana counterspell and like Into the Story is just so incredibly efficient. That card's fucked up. This control deck just doesn't have enough card draw that it can sneak through the counterspells to keep up.
This Rogues deck is like super scary.
Like I got my one on the back of Narset game 1, but otherwise it felt like I just didn't have a chance. Just can't win the counter war. And while you're waiting to set up to win the counter war that you're not going to, they have some efficient creature killing you. Perfect.
Resolves. All right.
I don't know if I like Into the Story. I mean, it's fun to cast, but it's so punishing. It's like the best card draw spell ever printed if you have the discount. And it has a mana mechanic on it. I don't know, like the games feel like those games were fun and interactive and back and forth, and you're playing the counter war and you're trying to like manage each other's resources until an end of the story resolves, and then it just feels like the game ended immediately, and like, why am I playing the rest of it?
Yeah, fair. All right, so that was our first deck in the Gauntlet. Next deck, I've got a pretty sweet one here with Temur Phoenix. So I've heard some people call Abundant Harvest the best cantrip ever printed. I don't know if I would go that far, but I think the card is absolutely incredible. This card, spectacular. I think it fits perfectly into the Arclight Phoenix shell. And the problem I had when trying to think about what else I would add to a Phoenix deck to play Abundant Harvest, because not only do you get Harvest, but you also get really good sideboard options like Ooze, Clothis, Cindervines. Cindervines particularly good right now too, with a bunch of people trying out Storm decks. Lovestruck Beast was a creature that I didn't originally think about, but someone much smarter than me posted a list with it. So another 1 mana instant or sorcery to help you chain it together to get a Arclight Phoenix going. Also 3 mana 5/5 body, really good against aggressive strategies, which are decks that generally would perform particularly well versus Phoenix. So really interesting inclusion there. I'm not sure how it's going to be, but I'm excited to try it out. And then everything else, we've got Channeler and Dreadhorde Arcanist as our other threats aside from Lovestruck Beast and Arclight. Arcanist particularly good because we have just infinite 1 mana cantrips and 1 mana spells now. Channeler, not really sure about this one, but I'm interested to try it out. I think another card we could play in the Channeler slot could be either Stormwing Entity or even maybe like an Ox of Agonis could be particularly good, but we'll try out Channeler, see how it does. And yeah, that's basically the deck.
Nice. If I had a Soul Guide Lantern early, obviously it changes the way the matchup plays a lot, but otherwise I think we're probably kind of just trying to... I guess like counter spells and removal spells are traditionally not good against...
Oh yeah, you have main deck lantern. You have main deck lanterns, right?
Yeah, 1.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for me.
I will keep this hand.
I will mull this hand. 0 lands. We will keep this, and we will throw back the card we cannot cast.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, this is what we kept.
The one of Soul Guide Lantern. You absolutely hate to see it.
So the Soul Guide Lantern is good. There's more in the sideboard. Narset's good in this matchup. So I guess there are ways for me to hate it out. Just the counterspell spot removal is not quite it. We could just keep playing Drago. this is fine.
Not sure
We
the draw
will-
go game plan favors us, to be honest, but it's kind of what we have to do based on how we've drawn so far.
We can just Wrath the God away this beast.
I guess.
That lets us keep playing the draw go plan. We're not getting smacked around.
Okay. This Soul Guide Lantern is particularly annoying.
I'm kind of glad to have it. Faithless looting. Sure. Wow, those pillars aren't very good here.
They are not very good here.
Is this Arcanist going to flashback? Ops?
Hopefully.
Alright, well. Could just use the Lantern now to stop the Arcanist. Gets the flashback on the Faithless looting too. It gets one Phoenix. We're not particularly protected from other Phoenixes, but there's only 3 cards. I think that's fine. Like, we don't really have much else going on. I guess maybe we should have waited until right before combat. I guess if you like had an opt-in step or something, you could have just waited until we cracked the Lantern to opt in and flash it back anyway. Harvest. Okay. We really got not much going on.
Guess we flash back the looting.
This feels like a good Wrath of God turn. I guess that's the trigger. If there's a Love-Struck Beast, cast Wrath. If not, don't cast Wrath. I really don't want this on top of my library because I want to draw something actually good.
Fair.
This goes on top of my library, then what? No, it's fine. That can go back on top. So I don't want the memory lapse. All right. We'll just do it the hard way.
Double Wrath. Okay. One card left.
Good thing there's a Wrath of God on top of my library. 3 beasts, 3 wraths.
All right, we'll try it again. No. I mean, like, at least we draw a memory lapse, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I double wrath last turn, because I didn't want you to have a memory lapse on top in case I drew like a Teferi or something.
We'll do this.
But now I'm just out of gas. All we drew were wraths and lands, which is not good when your opponent's cantripping.
Our axe does nothing, and I guess we discard the Fabled Passage because we just drew our only other basic. Looking for a threat. And of course there's a Brainstorm on top, so now I wish I kept the thing. We're gonna bottom that.
Interesting. I mean, sure. I imagine it just gets put back on top. We get to try again next turn.
Yeah, that's correct.
I'm fine doing this here. It eats the memory lapse. We still have a threat that we're going to draw. If we had like waited for him to untap and tried to play at instant speed, maybe there's some other counter spell, and then we just lose our Opus. I imagine we do this on upkeep to try and resolve it.
Yeah, I think upkeep's the play because you had to tap my lands too, right?
Tap lands, yeah. I guess we just go after blue-red lands.
We're gonna do the same thing again.
This A+ gameplay.
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
Right, we have an upkeep stop set.
Unfortunately, third time's the charm. And Kim's gonna get to resolve it. All right. Let's go.
But I'll do. I'm winning this race.
Yeah, I know. It's not great for me.
Boy, am I ever winning this race.
That's bad.
Train everyone. Keep an open mind.
There's just no way for us to beat this. We're holding 2 lands and a Pillar of Flame. Now all of our outs to like draw cantrips, bring the Phoenix back are gone. Okay.
Yeah. Well, we found our Opus.
This matchup. Well, we definitely want this. We'll This seems fine too. Bring in these. Our lightning axes are gonna go. The pillars are gonna go. Question is now, do we want more threats? Like these? I think I probably want one of these. And I don't actually think I want this.
Oh, you're back?
What happened?
You weren't in disc for a while.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't change anything. Do you want to share your screen again? Okay, never mind. I got it.
Turn it off and start again? Yeah, you just disconnected from Discord with stream.
Weird. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think
I
we leave it like
want
this.
those. Like, I definitely want the extra soul guide lanterns. That's probably all I want, though. I mean, I guess making this little swap extra anchor the gods instead of some of the other rats just is a bit better in this matchup. Considering Shark Typhoons, but I'm not playing against as many counter spells, so trying to like have a flash threat that can't be countered isn't as important. Maybe the Saw Comings aren't as good because there's just so many little cantrips and then the Phoenixes can come back from the graveyard. So maybe we want... What would we want? Yeah, let's do this.
Ugh.
Sand's not amazing, but it's fine. We're just gonna keep.
I'm not excited about this, but we are keeping. Oh, your screen disappeared.
Welcome back.
Something weird's going on with my Discord.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening.
What do we want to do this turn? I think we just pass. That is fine. We will answer it by hoping it can't attack us. All right, our hope didn't work. take our sensor before it sort of expires in usefulness. And what do we do? Hotel and pass. Phoenix.
We are playing a pretty not spectacular aggressive creature game plan here.
Well, this would be a good spot for a Wrath. So rather than kind of stem my bleeding, I'm going to try and just find a Wrath.
2 bottom. You'll have to see it.
All right, that didn't go so hot.
All right.
That really didn't go well.
Cycle sensor. No anger. One-time dealer.
That is bad. I would have to... None of that matters. Cool. Good time.
Oh man, I was not expecting to win that game. Holy shit.
Yeah, just a bunch of Love Strike Beasts. My only option there, like, either Behold the Multiverse and try and find some sweeper, which I think is the right play, but otherwise I memory lapse the Phoenix and take 6, and then you just play a Phoenix the next turn, and I'm not any further ahead in that game. So,
Yeah.
memory lapse is kind of a strange double sword. All right, well, do we want to change anything? Feels like we need a few more Wraths. The one more Wrath that we cut. And we can take out... Just trim a sensor. I'm gonna keep this, even though. Am I gonna keep it? Yeah, the upside's so good. I'm gonna keep it. Easy foretell. Set up for the rest of the game.
Oh.
Two Phoenix. That's threatening. Well. So I'm pretty confident those Phoenixes can come back next turn. Which means I'm just going to play this. I think the only thing that gets me is Mystical Dispute. Yeah. But like, if I don't play it, then the Phoenixes come back anyway. And once they're in play, it's not as good. Like, I won't have a window to play it for a while.
Okay. Fuck.
All right, well, maybe the Phoenixes aren't coming back.
This is awkward.
A 1/3. Sure. All right, let's try top. I assume that's another cantrip or something. Yep. All right, bird's coming back. We're taking a huge hit for 10 this turn. Maybe more if there's more birds. We just have sort of one plan here. You can wrath. And then hope that the creatures don't keep coming back. It's almost certainly going to make them come back. So I think I want to fight against it. Fair enough.
Do it like this. That's our third.
Nice turn. And we only have 7 mana. We drew a land. If we can't cast anything, which means we're dead.
Ooh.
I guess, so I kept that hand thinking that I could get that Narset down and it would stop the cantrips. So I guess maybe it's just more important to mulligan for a Soul Guide Lantern, something that's much easier to resolve. Because while Narset's good, like, every deck is set up to stop it, and every good player is going to make it very hard to resolve. And the feeling I'm getting from this, like, Opus deck is that it's, like, so slow. I don't know, like, I'm just not finding Teferis, not finding Gearhulks. And even if I do, they're, like, so slow and hard to resolve. I'm kind of really wondering. Maybe I'm playing it wrong or keeping the wrong hands, because I'm wondering how it did so well in those tournaments, because it's feeling very... like the hands you need to keep to survive the early game to keep up with how efficient the other decks are leave you just sort of spinning your wheels as you hope to draw a threat.
I mean, the first 2 decks you played against, like, are decks that have a pretty reasonable clock and are backed up with counter spells, right? And you're trying to resolve like 6 to like 8 mana big threats, right? So I don't know.
That's true. They could be bad matchups, and there are also matchups where Wraths aren't as good, and this deck is kind of it is a Wrath heavy version.
Yeah. So now,
but even then,
well, let's put this on the back burner, and we have 2 non-blue creature decks up next. So maybe you'll change your tune once you get to play a few of those. So,
but I mean, like playing around the counter spells, that part's fine. I was gonna say, like, even then, I never felt like there was a time, like, my big threats weren't getting countered. Like, I just wasn't drawing them that often. I never felt like I was making plays. I was just drawing lands and wrathing and then dying.
Fair.
But again, that could just be variance. There are threats in the deck. I just I've cast 0 Gearhulk so far in 5 games.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them in the deck, so...
yeah. All right. Next deck, we've got a spin on Boros Heroic, featuring new cards like Clever Lumimancer. This is basically just Featherless Feather. We're playing Luris as a companion. Our threats are Lumimancer. We've got Dreadhorde Arcanist, 10th District Legionnaire, Soulscar Mage, and then 1 copy of Leonin Lightscribe. Bunch of really good 1-mana cards to pair up with our Lumimancer. Invigorated Rampage, also spectacular when we're playing a bunch of virtual prowess creatures here. So it's super low to the ground, really aggressive, and we'll see how it lines up versus Cam's control deck. Dwayne Lesnar, thanks for the sub, the prime, appreciate it. Welcome to the stream, my man. Yeah, I'm excited to try this one out. This one looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, gotta test out to see if Lumimancer is better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, Cam not convinced on Lumimancer yet. Me, I'm a bit of a believer, so we'll see how it pans out.
Like in Modern and stuff, like obviously if you can guarantee that you're constantly getting triggers because you have cantrips or a lot of cheap spells, like yeah, it grows pretty quickly. I don't know, those turns where it does nothing or...
we won the die roll. We will keep this hand.
We need more lands than this. This hand is just gonna die to Heroic. 6 lands Narset.
Yeah, that's not particularly good.
This hand's actually good, and it's got a very easy 2 Magma Opus to bottom.
What do you mean? It ramps you.
True. We're gonna put them on the bottom. Ah, the perfect draw.
We gotta change the title of this deck. Okay, let's get aggressive.
Well, that was actually a reasonable draw. His 10th District Legionnaire is going to start growing. We don't want to give him the scries and such. So we're just going to kill this now. Get some of our life back.
Okay. This is a weird draw.
All right, well, I'll kill one of them.
Okay, killing one of them makes me think that he either doesn't have a Wrath or is missing lands.
Now,
So he has
we're gonna
lands.
use this Narset to bait some damage.
Those
And
who
go
cannot
looking for things to do.
proceed with thoughtfulness before action.
Okay.
Dwayne asking, did the list have the Dragon Sweeper? This list does not.
All right.
Just playing good old Wrath of God effects. White
I-
sweepers.
I-
And an anchor.
I don't think he has a Wrath. So I'm going to play headfirst into it.
All right, well, Narset eats 3 for us. Thank you, Narset.
I shall
Thank
miss
you, Narset. Very cool.
And, well, now there's 2 things we need, lands and a sweeper, and we have neither of them. So the best way to find those is to just draw cards.
All right.
That is a land. And it is a land that allows us to keep drawing cards.
How much damage can I do this turn? This doesn't actually do anything right now, so we're gonna bottom that. Damn, Kim gained 6 life off his lightning helixes this turn.
Yeah, I would have been dead. All right, sweeper, please.
No sweeper, please.
Ah,
I feel like that means he didn't draw sweeper.
okay, so I could. Okay, that's almost suicidal, so I'm not going to do that. Otherwise, my options are to do this. Just doing this now. I mean, otherwise I do it on upkeep. It has to happen before his draw step. I assume there's God's willing type effects, so. Might still even be dead though if these Soul Scar Mages get big or in the 10th district. You can just go around me, but
So if we let him gain the life, doing this on our turn doesn't actually kill him. So we're just going to gain the life and shrink his Gearhulk.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Well, we have to just block the biggest thing. Being at 2 is really awkward because we have shocklands in our hand. Yep.
There are so many mishone your prowess.
Have to take this. I guess it doesn't matter when we do it. If there's a protection spell, we're dead. If we cast it on Soulscar Mage, we still die. So it has
I
to
mean,
be.
if I had a protection spell, you would have died, right? I would
Yeah,
have just
true.
pumped my creatures, so I think you can assume I don't have one.
I mean, even if you do, I have to hit the 10th district. If I target anything else, I die. And if you have a protection spell, I'm dead regardless. So
Oh my god. We have bricked again.
I'm not feeling Narset's a good
I've
sign.
reached my limit.
That's a bad sign.
Just both out here drawing terrains.
Yep. I meant to shock that in. Misclick. Goddamn. Yeah, 3 shocklands in hand.
That was a weird game.
That was.
Very weird game. This matchup, I think.
Alright, I want my removal.
So that game was weird because all we drew were lands and threats and no actual spells, and now I just want to cut spells and bring in more threats. Yeah, because our Reckless Rages don't actually kill anything. And they're not going to have a target most of the time, so they're not even going to act as just a spell to pump our creatures. So I think we just cut them and we bring in these.
They kill Magma Opus tokens.
Okay. I mean, if you're able to cast a Magma Opus at any point during the game, I'm pretty sure I'm dead anyway. So yeah, I think we do that. Play a buttload of threats, and hope we don't draw all of them.
Yeah, I think this is pretty easy. Trim the Soul Guide Lantern, trim a counterspell, because his threats are so cheap. I mean, he's a Luris deck, so maybe I want the Soul Guide Lantern, but I feel like it's more primarily to not die. He's a Luris deck. Okay, I'll leave the Soul Guide Lantern in. I'll trim a Magma Opus. Otherwise, we're just bringing in like a Rip Apart, Red Cat Melee, extra Anger of the Gods. Anti-aggro stuff.
Fair enough.
Seems fine.
This hand is ugly. Mulligan. This hand is pretty nice, actually.
Mauling is a privilege.
So, more damage. Just doing some quick math in my head there. Don't know if I made the right decision. Didn't think it all the way through.
What is the best way to do this? Just prevent as much damage as possible. Did you account for doing -3 damage with your one drop?
No, I didn't. I did not account for that.
Interesting. Yeah, this thing's gonna get huge. We'll just counter it.
Okay.
Got to spend our mana on something, and oftentimes against aggressive decks where you're constantly trying to step the bleeding, if you don't counter it, then they just pass, and you can't do anything with your counter spell. That was a good draw. Yeah, we just go for it here. It's gonna get at least one of them.
So he had to have drawn that, because I don't know why he would have countered my creature if he had that. So I guess we just have to save our better threat. Yeah, we'll keep that, I guess. Good one.
Dang. We finally get to do it.
Hulk Flashback Opus.
This will go here. We'll put 4 on the Soul Scar in case there's a prowess trigger. We're not killing the 10th district anyway, and 1 to his face doesn't matter. Yeah, that gets protection. Pro blue is annoying, but pro blue means we're just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, it does. I was like, you're like, yeah, I finally get to do it. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to burst his bubble, but he's dead. Oh, man. God's willing. All right, well,
sure.
We've got one more deck in the gauntlet here. This is Selesnya Company. We played a similar deck to this like a month ago or something on Versus, I believe. This deck did pick up some new cards though. We've got Elite Spellbinders in the main deck, and that's it. That's basically it. Just 4 Elite Spellbinders, but I think that card is like a really nice pickup for this deck. And this deck was reasonable before. It performed well in one of the events, actually in a couple of the events, I think, on the weekend. So we'll see if it has any legs here. You're definitely pulling a Stelly though this week, Cam.
Yeah, getting reverse swept.
It's losing every match. How's it feel, man? It sucks, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's not great, but it's definitely pointing out issues with the deck, and it's making me really curious how it did well in the event it did well in. Because looking at the list, you'd expect it to have like the typical control setup, like, you know, they don't do something so threatening, you cast a draw spell, or you discard your Magma Opus to set up for later. You have some removal spells, then you have a threat. It's just that second part, that like finding the threat after you do something, like hasn't happened today, and so I just die to the second wave of threats. Is this hand good enough against?
I mean, it was also
Okay.
also a week one deck, right? Like, so it probably matched up against a lot of
Yeah,
a
but it was
lot of,
in the
like,
event with
poorly-
these decks. Like,
poorly tuned decks, right? So
that's true. But I am glad to have learned that I think the Magnus Opus thing is too cute. And I guess the actual impression I'm getting from this is that I just don't think it has enough card draw in it. Like, playing Teferis, which die pretty easily and are hard to resolve in some matchups, but otherwise it's just got two Glimpse the Multiverse and Narsets. Like, generally when I've built control decks in the past, they feel kind of bad like this. Like, you get stuck, you spin your wheels. Because, like, you put in a bunch of answers and you put in a bunch of threats and you put in a bunch of, like, Gearhulk Opus and it feels super cool. But really, you need, like, a lot less of those things than you think you need if you have more card draw to find them. And it's that card draw that keeps you up, like, it helps you keep pace in certain matchups, so...
yeah, okay, that's fair. Helix, my elves, come on, bruh.
Yeah, you're supposed to bolt it. I would have preferred to Helix that. Now I don't have a land. Alright, well, this loss was probably on me, not on deck building. But
All right, let's see what goods you have over there.
tons of them.
Lots of goods. I guess we just take the spell you can cast. Oh, actually, no. Yeah, just take the spell you can cast. I mean, you could have just discarded your Opus. That's a land drop, right?
So yeah, sort of.
Let's...
That's like a temporary land drop to maybe not die as fast. I don't think you win the game by doing that.
Yeah, probably not.
I'll do it now, though.
This card's probably going to lose you the game.
Yeah, I drew a non-basic land.
Yeah. I'm like, pretty sure all you play are non-basics.
7, 8, 9. I have one island. Which I could have
One
drawn.
island.
Alright, well, we have one choice here.
No! Damn it. Alright, lethal threat. Oh, come on. Okay, wait.
I'm gonna die to this company.
You have a 4-mana memory lapse in your hand, though. Oh, man. Do I main phase it? This last card in your hand better not be another Wrath, and the top card of your deck better not be an untapped land. I'm gonna be pissed. Oh, actually, never mind. Oh, it was.
I mean,
it was a Wrath.
It was a Wrath, yeah.
Oh, disgusting.
Alright, I can draw... Alright, that wouldn't have been untapped. I could have drawn Anger the Gods. This would not have been untapped. I mean, I guess if you had a worse company, it would have worked.
You're not dead, though. I can only
I'm
put
not
you to
dead.
1.
Hmm.
What'd you get? It's not particularly good. Okay, wait. What's in my
Yeah,
deck?
not what I'm looking for.
What is in my deck? Do I have... I guess I have more
Demonarch Aspirant kills me.
I have 2 more aspirants in my deck. I've already found 2. I guess there's like no point of trying to kill you immediately.
My mind needs a rest.
Like, I don't know how he gets out of this. If he finds a way to wipe my board, I just company when he's tapped out, and then probably find a way to kill
I'm
him.
not going to do it here.
Well, Spellbinder came in pretty clutch there, but I think the real reason you lost was not finding your terrains.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Finally, a matchup where I don't think Soul Guide Lantern matters at all.
I mean, this has to be a Thalia matchup, I imagine. Probably a Ceratops matchup too. Skyclave Apparition seems pretty bad. Scavenging Ooze doesn't seem great either. I think I'd rather just have Redains.
I don't want anything else here.
I think this seems reasonable.
I'm going to try this on the play, not actually changing up too much, bringing in an Anger for the Soul Guide Lantern. Guess I could bring in Rip Apart, but I'll try this. I'll bring in Rip Apart instead of a Censor on the draw, where Censor is less good. This 10, I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, Sam seems good.
The new hat. What is he referring to, Stubby?
Loving the new hat cam. Oh, because I put your the love to see it emoji as your
Oh, I see.
in place of your camera today.
Do I want this? No. Thalia is somewhat annoying.
That's what we were hoping.
Well, my stuff costs so much more. Although this reminds me, I do still need to do my taxes. Please no.
4 mana sod coming. You hate to see it. Feels pretty good to know I'm just like pretty safe from wraths.
That's really annoying. That is very annoying. All right. Does Thalia stop this?
Think so.
God, it does. Come on. All right.
You'll love to see it. Okay, is he dead? Do this. Attack. Blocks the 5/5. Takes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he'd go to 1. I mean, that's probably worth.
Mhm. Does it matter which 5/5 I block? I guess Mammoth is not always a 5/5.
I guess we just hold the Love Struck Beast.
Ugh. All right. Yeah, we're just dead.
Just dead?
My Teferi costs 8, my commit costs 8, and I have 2 Anger of the Gods in my hand, and no second red.
Oh my god. Oh.
That's what I was saying
2
was really
angers.
annoying earlier. When you said it feels good, I'm safe from wraths. I had an Anger I could have cost for 4, but no red.
Damn, that's hard times.
Yeah.
All right, pull up the deck list and we'll do a little debrief.
All right. So, I mean, that last game was just color issues. The first game of that match, I probably could have played a bit more patiently. But in general, the Magma Opuses, like, I was only casting them after the game had gone so late that I think any huge thing I drew would have been good. Otherwise, they were dead draws early. I think trying to set them up with Torrential Gearhulk is too cute. And my biggest complaint, I think, is that, like look how much removal is in this deck. There's 4 Helix, an Anger, well, 4 Helix and 4 Wraths. Kind of a lot. Counters, like, there's just no card draw, is my complaint. Like, the power of Torrential Gearhulk, back when it was in Standard, is that you were basically always free to flashback a Glimmer with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't have to flashback the removal spells because you would draw something off the draw spell that you flashback, which you could use to answer things. And it was that card quantity that allowed you to stay ahead in the game. And this deck, it felt like there was so few card draw that you were just kind of stuck with the cards coming off the top, which led to games where I was only drawing Wraths and lands. Like, you need a critical mass of card draw so that you get about 1 per game early enough that it draws into more card draw that draws into more card draw, and you can chain them through the whole game to find what you need and stay ahead. So that's the biggest thing I'd change, is like, this needs at least 4 Behold the Multiverse. Maybe other card draw effects. Like, I don't think 5 or 6 is unreasonable. The Narsets are good, but yeah, that's just the biggest issue. Because I feel like if I had found card draw earlier in a lot of those games, like, I had answers I needed.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to Wrath on time in some games. Like, the early games were fine. How they played out aside, I had the resources I need to survive the early games, and then it was this transition to the late game that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the Magma Opus is too cute, and this is just suffers from like some fundamental deck building issues for a control deck.
So how do you feel then after playing out with this deck, like the control version? How do you feel about a version that is just more all in on getting that Gearhulk into play, like the Indomitable creativity versions that are playing like Creative Outburst as well? They're playing like some removal. Like the version I'm looking at right now has 2 Sweltering Suns, 2 Magma Sprays, but the rest of the deck is just like Brainstorms, Prismari Commands, Shark Typhoons. Like, you're kind of just more focused on getting that Gearhulk into the play and less focused on like being a
I'm
control
trying to play a
deck.
control plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, I think that version would feel better than this version, just because it would have the card velocity. It would see enough cards with brainstorms, with Pitmari's commands and stuff, in order to find the pieces it needed. And I think the existence of a list like that is kind of to my point, right? That you don't need 4 Wraths, 4 removal spells, and a bunch of counter spells. Like, you can get away with less if you have a bunch of card volume.
Mm-hmm.
However, I still think that, I don't know, like, even when I was casting the Magma Opus, I don't know if it's worth it. Like, all that work, and you probably get to kill 1 thing, if you're lucky 2. The tapping doesn't really matter at the point in the game at which you're casting Magma Opus. And you get a 4/4.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's good off Torrential Gearhulk, but I don't know if it's...
Well, that's
Like,
kind
it's
of
2 cards. I don't know. It just feels like for the cost of having to set up Magma Opus, it's not as impactful as I want. Like, it doesn't even feel as good as Into the Sword.
Yeah, that's kind of another reason why I think the creativity version might be better, because you get that flashback effect much earlier than you do out of the control deck, and obviously, like the
Yeah, if
Magma
it's
Opus
earlier, it might
effect
be
is
more
just going to be
impactful.
more impactful earlier in the game, right?
Yeah, but even today, like, when I finally cast a Magma Opus and it resolved, like, I felt fine. It wasn't, like, amazing. It didn't feel like an 8-mana instant, that's for certain.
Yeah. I kind of felt that too. I don't know. Yeah,
But the game doesn't feel over. Like, there's very real games where, like, you're 4/4. Okay, you have a 4/4. Like, you kill something, you get a 4/4. You draw 2 cards. If your 2 cards aren't amazing, like, and I was never, again, this because of the lack of card draw in the early game in this deck. I don't think I was ever ahead on cards in any of our games. Like, the decks you were playing either had card draw or had cantrips or had whatever. Like,
Mhm.
I was running out of cards before you constantly.
Yeah.
So the 2 cards doesn't feel like enough to keep a control deck going. I just wasn't impressed with the Magma Opus.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad I tried it, but it was really underwhelming compared to what I was expecting for the amount of setup it required.
Yeah. Dwayne in chat saying he thinks the 3-mana command is pretty good. I also think Prismari command is pretty good. And maybe it is a card you should include in a build like this, because not only does it give you that card draw, but it also gives you just removal, right? Obviously 2 damage isn't spectacular, but 2 damage does kill a lot of real threats, and it also allows you to churn through your deck, right?
Yeah,
With your double draw discard, so maybe it would be
Like, again, I feel like all these issues that I'm complaining about this deck having, it's hard for me to try and predict if they would still feel like issues if there was enough card draw here. Like, when I mentioned after 5 games, like our first 2 matches, I saw 0 Gearhulks. Like, things like that, like just never finding a Teferi on time, never finding a Gearhulk on time. Because you have to play to set up those windows where you could resolve threats, but then if you don't have them, you sort of play towards nothing.
yeah.
Those issues go away if you just have more card volume. And so then it's hard to say, like, yeah, maybe the Magma Opus is fine, but it feels lackluster if it's the first threat you find in a game, which is an issue because you're not drawing enough cards. Yeah, I don't know. I'd fix that issue first before I make any significant changes, because I mean, this deck did perform well at a tournament, so there has to be something here. Maybe whether it was mostly pilot error today that made it go poorly or bad matchups, like, it has done well, so it's not like the cards in it aren't good enough. I think, yeah, I would just fix that issue and see if it improved the way the deck played, and then look at tweaking from there.
All right. Fair enough. Well, that's going to wrap up Versus for us this week. Thanks everybody who tuned into the stream. If you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for tuning in as well. Appreciate you all being here. A new episode of the podcast will be out later this week. We'll be back next Wednesday as well, I believe, with more DWC Versus, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. thanks again. We'll catch y'all next time.
See ya.